You see the evil as good, as much good that you have.
You see the evil as much good.
Yeah. It means you're not able to see the left unless you have the right.
Okay. Yeah.
It means
Well,
that truly we are not able to perceive what we call um, recognition of bad, or recognition of evil, or recognition of wickedness. We're not able to
mm,
actually perceive it unless we are inside work, meaning that we attribute importance and greatness to God, which means to that which actually shed light on what we are in want in relation to our, let's say, um, to the partnership of being able to fulfill the Creator's will to bestow goodness. So it means that first we have to establish the dominion of the right. If you have established the importance, I'm looking for another word for importance, the value of the presence of of the Creator in our life, in the value of the Creator within evolution, the the evolution process of becoming, of having this face of Adam. We have to establish it. And let's say the holiday that will establish it within Malchut, meaning within the will of, uh, of the Createe, will be Hanukkah. The ability to actually bring it together as a whole, meaning to bring all the will to receive to oneself, all those wills, into submitting and being able to have life, will happen in Purim. So the preparation of redemption starts from Malchut, let's say from below, from recognition. This is why it's not in Torah, because Torah gives us the action of light that within the 6,000 years of Reformation allow us to collect, to accumulate, to summon the light that will, when we come to, let's say, to the end of inclusion within, let's say, inclusion within the nine sfirot, meaning within the qualities and ways, I would say, of the Creator, then the reformation of the Createe himself, meaning the part which was an empty or void space in us, will be able to reform itself. So it has two stages: the stage of the head, which is Hanukkah, and the stage of the body, which is Purim. It means the stage of the way we connect to the higher, and then we can sort of bring in the reformed vessel of will to receive, uh, to be a whole sort of a whole structure, a whole reformed structure. So actually, it's when we speak about Hanukkah, we speak about uh, to settle the the deep-rooted contradiction and dispute within Israel, within different factions in Israel, within right and left, spiritual right and left, as I think it's a spiritual dispute that starts, or at least what we saw in this, what we are encountering in this portion is the dispute between Yosef and his brothers, or Yosef and Yehuda. Okay, so it has many. It because Yosef is saying, let's first control the body, and when we will control the body, we will be able to sort of um, to influence and to dictate spiritual law. But it fails throughout the history of the, the court Jew. It failed. It doesn't matter how many Jews there is um, let's say, in the U.S. government, but there is no president. There will never be a president which is Jewish. So if you want to see it though Jews has, you'll say, everyone will say that they have a very so deep influential power within the government. Oh. But it's like Yosef. They have it, but they don't have the actual ability and power to dictate the spiritual law. So it fails. So this is why Purim is after Hanukkah and not before. Okay? Meaning now, this is what Yaakov is saying. This is why it's difficult to understand why Yaakov is actually looking at Yosef as his direct sort of produce, or that he would see his continuation within Yosef. Because actually Yaakov is the one who said, no, first we need to establish the growth of spirituality.
And that
It's
is what
maturity.
Jew, sorry, I'm interrupting. When you said the split between Yosef and Yehuda,
Yeah.
What is Yehuda holding there?
Yehuda is holding the fact that we need to actually pursue um, the reformation of, let's say, of the body, but through establishing the thought of serving the higher, meaning serving spirit. It's with it's it's the way it's the way it set itself. Okay, but we know that within, let's say, within time, the time of Messiah, which is the time of collecting the great light that was accumulated, we need them both. This is why, for example, Ari would say that both of them, whether it's Hanukkah or Purim, they're both in Hod, meaning they're both in Malchut. When she's coming into her independency, and and when she comes into sort of deciding what will dominate her way. Okay, so Yehuda is speaking about keeping this in that, keeping it apart or separated, and then keeping it separated until we will have the ability to have sovereignty, meaning that spirituality will be able to have sovereignty. Now, within our reality, how spirituality can have sovereignty? It needs a body, but it needs a body, a place. A body is a place.
Yeah.
It needs a place. In a person, it's the will to receive. In the world, it's the land of Israel. In time, it's connecting Hanukkah and Purim. So it suggests that in order to be able to allow the spirit's sovereignty, we need a place. But in order to allow it to guide and to be the ruler of that place, it means that you will be able to set the laws, that the law of the place will be spiritual. So
Hmm.
first you need to establish the reality and the presence of the spirit. So and we know it from Yaakov. Yaakov is saying to Esav after the meeting, "You go forth," meaning you rule the world till I'll be ready, because the spirit is in its infant state. It needs growth, it needs nourishment, it needs to sort of evolve into the ability to actually rule. And then it will rule the world. Okay. So Hanukkah is sort of saying it's time. It's time for spirituality to rule the world. And there will be a revolt um, against, let's say, any other rules that will not allow, that will prevent the, let's say, the expression of the spirit. It will fail till the moment it will succeed. So it needs to fail a few times in order to come to a time that you'll be able to establish a state in which spirituality will be the rule. So now
And
we sort of put it upside down. We establish a state and we think that it's for the state's sake.
right.
And unless we find the value, the true value of it, which is the value of the spirit, we will not be able to settle it or to settle in it.
So you said earlier the importance of the thought, the intention of 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 the spiritual.
Mm.
I'm not
But
saying it,
spiritual
before.
is the most polluted term,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
most polluted term in the world, apart from love and religion. Spirituality is the most polluted word, so it needs a definite cleanup and a definite purification, a purge, actually, in order to actually for us to start to begin to see what actually it is.
It
Okay.
is, and the desire to bestow is that part of the definition then of
Yeah, it's part of the definition. But part of the definition it comes with bestowal, comes with the understanding that it's not human nature. It's not the
right,
will to receive nature to bestow. So it needs spiritual speaks about the connection between human and divinity and God in such a way that the um, the createe, the human, is aware that he is lacking this quality and is asking to be given that in order not to separate from the creator. So now we start to speak about spirituality. It has to do with eternity and it has to do with being able to fulfill not our wishes, but the will of the creator. That everything that he will bestow will be able to be perceived as good.
yeah.
So it means that first we need to clean up the head, the way we think about it, the way we calculate our um, our wants, our desire in relation to the Creator. Okay. So one can say that it's this is why they are holy, meaning they are giving life, but we cannot use them without actually coming to terms with a recognition of the will to receive, a recognition of the body that it takes upon itself the rule of spirituality. And then they will become head and body as a full entity, which is called redemption. Okay? So this is maybe why it was sort of more difficult. Yeah, why it's because he's trying to sort of um, explain as well within it the we have this Malchut, the poet, the poem that we read, or we sing within when we light the candles of Hanukkah. So he's taking part of it and he's saying what actually suggests that the Greeks, okay, the Greeks suggest is the intellectual rule of the will to receive to oneself is coming upon me. What do I need? Actually, what do I need spirituality if I can sort of perceive within the power of my intellect and my mind the importance of, let's say, uh, something higher. So I'll become that higher because I perceive it. So thinking it
Mhm.
and is sort of giving me the authority um, upon holiness, upon that which gives life. So when that kind of thought is trying to rule the day of spirituality, then there is a revolt. Yeah, the revolt of not being able. Actually, it's like something is gathering upon us, and it suffocates spirituality, and it turns off the light. Okay? And then we have to sort of search it, but from a place of needing life. Not, it's not a leisure state, Hanukkah. It's a state of life and death, needing life, needing to be alive, needing to give life to spirituality, to the spirit. Let's leave the spirituality to the spirit. Okay. So Uh, of course, the creator humble himself because he's not appearing in his full um, presence. He's
Ah, ah,
being covered all the time.
yeah.
He's covering itself. Yeah. So there is
Uh-huh.
a different level of being hidden and covering one's presence within this the portion and within Hanukkah. Yeah. So this.